Most people believe they are in total control of their own decisions. But what if your choices aren't actually yours? Influence thrives in the background, guiding behavior so quietly that the person being steered often feels a sense of gratitude toward their navigator. This breakdown examines 7 distinct psychological tactics used to hijack behavior, providing the specific indicators required to recognize these patterns in real time. Realizing you are a target requires stripping away the invisibility that makes these tactics effective, moving from an unconscious participant to an objective observer. Phase 1 is infiltration. The opening move utilizes warmth or microscopic requests to bypass your initial skepticism before any high-stakes demands are made. The foot-in-the-door tactic starts small. Agreeing to a tiny favor clicks a single gear into place, activating your biological need for consistency. A 5-minute favor becomes 20. Eventually, you're doing their work because your brain prioritizes maintaining its established pattern. The nice trap operates similarly. By providing unrequested favors or sudden support, a manipulator creates a psychological ledger of debt that you never asked for. When they finally ask for a return favor, your sense of fairness creates intense friction. Saying no to a perceived ally feels like a personal betrayal. Phase 1 is effective because it frames manipulation as mutual cooperation, stalling the brain's natural skepticism. Phase 2 is pressure. Once the manipulator has established a foothold, they begin engineering environments that force you into making hurried, irrational choices. Artificial urgency, like a shrinking timer, causes the brain's logic centers to recede. This forces a total reliance on emotion, which is much easier for an outsider to predict and direct. Negotiators weaponize uncomfortable silence. They stay completely still, forcing you to nervously over-explain and surrender your own leverage. Social proof pressure takes this further by projecting an illusion of consensus. If you believe everyone else has already agreed, the primal fear of social isolation makes a bad idea feel mandatory. Phase 2 succeeds by stripping away your rational autonomy, leaving you to surrender power just to escape the engineered discomfort of the situation. Phase 3 is binding. This is the deepest level of control, where the manipulator moves beyond steering your actions and begins targeting your self-image. Guilt manipulation leverages past favors to frame a current refusal as a betrayal of your own values, making a simple disagreement feel like a moral failing. Identity manipulation uses specific labels like loyal or helpful to box you in. These aren't compliments. They are constraints dictating how you should behave. Once you accept the identity the manipulator has assigned to you, rejecting their next demand feels like you are rejecting your own fundamental character. Binding finalizes the capture by replacing the manipulator's external pressure with your own internal psychological constraints. The ultimate triumph of manipulation is that control never actually looks like control. It perfectly mimics the feeling of choice. Recognizing these specific indicators, unearned guilt, artificial urgency, or identity labeling turns a confusing emotional experience into a series of recognizable behavioral patterns. Protection requires a forced mental pause. When you detect these tactics, evaluate the environment objectively rather than reacting to the emotional pressure being applied. Labeling a tactic as it occurs pulls your brain back into logical analysis, disrupting the emotional loop a manipulator needs to maintain control. Subscribe to continue dissecting the mechanics of human behavior.